Welcome back to Capitol Tonight. I'm Tim Boehm. The holiday season, it's in full swing. Things generally tend to slow down this time of year, but that's very much not the case when it comes to politics, both on the federal and state level. A lot going on with things changing every day. So I wanted to check in with both sides of the aisle, and for more on that, just happens to be in town. Tommy Hicks Jr., co-chair of the Republican National Committee. Good to see you, sir. Welcome on in.
Thank you, Tim.
For our folks that may not know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Dallas, Texas. I've been in the private sector basically my entire career and got involved with the Republican Party as a donor first and have become, was asked to be co-chairman by Ronna McDaniel and President Trump back in 2019 and ran for a second term, and here I am.
And here you are. So what does that entail? You're here in North Carolina. What are you doing here today?
Well, today we've got an event tonight to train people to poll watch. We've been meeting with friends and making sure that people understand what our message is, which is the message of faith, freedom, and opportunity. And we've got to keep reminding people over and over again that that's what we stand for. And we're excited about the future because, frankly, we're reaching out and trying to grow the party into communities that we haven't been, that haven't voted Republican necessarily in the past. But we are better ambassadors for their values than the Democrat Party is these days.
Which communities in particular are you working toward?
Well, right now, I'm a Texan, so I'll focus on Texas. We've got two on the border in the Rio Grande Valley, one in San Antonio. We're looking at Hispanic communities there. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have one focused on the Indian American community. And, you know, we've had some terrific results in South Texas. We had a Republican mayor win a race by 5 points in a county that Biden won by 17.1%. back just a year ago. And so momentum is on our side within the Hispanic community. Governor-elect Youngkin won 55% of the Hispanic vote in Virginia just recently.
Yeah, North Carolina has got a growing population of Hispanic people in North Carolina, too, so that'll be important, no question about that. You travel the state all the time, and granted, you're talking largely to supporters and people that you're trying to recruit in you, but what are you gathering across the country that people are really focused and concerned on right now as we head into what is a very important midterm year?
Well, there are a lot of things people are focused on. Right now, it's inflation. I mean, we just had the most expensive Thanksgiving we've ever had. We're about to go into the most expensive Christmas we've ever had. And, kids are not going to have as many gifts under the Christmas tree this year, which is sad. We also have record fuel prices, gas prices. We've got open borders, 1.7 million people. That's the size of Phoenix, Arizona, the fifth largest city in America, that have come across illegally this year that we know of. And obviously we've got some problems internationally. You got Russia about to invade Ukraine and China is pressing Taiwan. This is a direct response to Joe Biden's weakness in foreign policy after the tragedy in Afghanistan, where we lost 13 service members and left hundreds of Americans behind enemy lines. And it was an international humiliation for our country. And it's frankly scary.
Do you believe, people that will watch this, I think it'd be interesting from a national perspective, do you think that the Republican Party is still Donald Trump's party?
Donald Trump changed the Republican Party. We are the party of America first, and Donald Trump will always have a lot of influence. Right now, we're only focused on the midterms. We have to win back the House. We have to win back the Senate. We will. I'm very confident we will. And then we'll see what happens in 2024.
On that front, what type of candidates? Because I'm assuming you're helping. Part of the RNC is to recruit candidates, and there's a lot of that even on the state level right now. Chairman Whatley's sitting right over here, and they're very interested in the types of candidates that are going to be running. What type of candidates do you think are most important that can run and can win in 2022?
Candidates who can win. No, but seriously, we're focused on recruiting candidates across the board. Everywhere we go. I've been to 42 states this year. We're looking at recruiting candidates for federal office, state office, local office. If you're running for city council or school board, oftentimes that's just as important for us as Republicans. You got to win from the bottom up and the top down. And so we're focused on just candidates, qualified candidates across the board, across the country.
The reason I ask that is because Madison Cawthorn, who's a congressman of the western part of the state, he is really recruiting folks that he believes are not go-along, get-along Republicans, as he says. And he's trying to build a group of those people. In fact, he's running in a district now that basically pushed the House Speaker in the state not to run. Do you feel like there's a divide within the party about where to go and what type of candidates should run in the Republican Party?
Well, I think every time Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi open their mouths, we get more united as a party. Now, candidates-wise, I think America First candidates resonate with most Republicans these days. We've become the party of the American working man and woman, and we've got to put America first. We have to focus on our country and Americans first. We've got to focus on the economy, on inflation, on employment, on wage growth. Gasoline prices. We used to be energy independent. We're not now. That was because of day one, Joe Biden administration, they cut off a major pipeline. And that caused day one, 12,000 jobs. I mean, that is not America first. And that's what resonates with Republican voters right now.
North Carolina and Texas have become two of the more fascinating political states. As long as I have you here and you're from Texas, I mean, how do you view the Texas politics these days? It's almost blood sport, but it has been dominated by Republicans for a long time. Democrats, Beto O'Rourke and some of those hope that they're moving up. Where do you view Texas politics now?
Well, Texas is very Republican, and it always will be. I hope. I've got a bunch of neighbors who moved from California or New York, sight unseen, and they're all Republicans. I've heard 58 to 60% of the people moving from elsewhere are Republicans. And the reason why they're moving to Texas is because they don't like California's politics. They don't like New York's politics. I mean, they understand why they left, and that's important. Texas is a place that believes in lower regulation, less government interference. We don't have a state income tax. And we generally believe in the individual's rights.
Well, we will see what happens. It's fascinating to watch Texas and North Carolina and across the country as an important 2022, which by history's tenses should be good for Republicans. We'll see what happens. Welcome to North Carolina. It's good to see you. Thank you. I hope we'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, take care.